Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Nexus. We're here at the CINEX Summit, where the theme for the 2 days has been the orange economy. We're here with our next guest, Mr. Danilo Zabala. We're very excited to have him because Danilo, just recently, it was communicated that became the CEO of Blue Nap Americas. Blue Nap Americas is a tier 4 data center that's here on the island. And that is one of the most important data centers in the world in terms of security. So, to tell us all about it, we are fortunate to be one of the first people to interview Danilo Zabala since becoming CEO. So, Danilo, welcome to Nexus. It's
Thank
great
you.
to have you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the
Yeah,
invitation.
yeah. So, Danilo, it's congratulations on the
Thank
new
you.
position on CEO. I know you've been involved with the data center for a very, very long time, and I think it's a logical and a natural thing. Your development has been spectacular to the point that now you've reached the CEO position. Uh, Tell us, how do you feel? I mean, what's going through your mind now that you have this huge responsibility with the multi-million-dollar data center that's here on the island?
Well, thank you very much. Indeed, it is a big honor to have reached this level. As you probably indeed know, I have been involved since day one. Actually, way back when I used to work at a local telecom company, and at that time, we recognized that because of the shift that was happening in telecommunication, voice minutes were declining,
Right.
telephony was declining, but the one element that was rising was data.
Right.
So at that time, as the telecom company, we were considering building our own data center, and we actually did a full business case, and we were about to engage in a huge investment in order to make this happen. But to our luck or surprise, there was another brilliant gentleman that had this idea to build a tier 4 data center on the island of Curacao. And at that time, we decided to join them as a minority shareholder. And he constructed the facility as we know it today. But through the years, through several issues that didn't go as well as planned, the telecom company ended up acquiring the asset of the data center, and at that time, they put me in to sort of steer the ship in the right direction. Initially on the commercial side,
Right.
um,
Because you were previous to this new role as a chief executive officer, you were the chief commercial officer.
that's absolutely right. So
Yeah.
my responsibilities initially was to, get the revenue going, increasing sales, coming up with the branding, coming up with the marketing, the messaging, et cetera, et cetera. So indeed, I was able to participate in that from day one, and I saw that part of the business grow steadily over the years. But through that, I also had opportunity to engage in operational matters, so the technical side as well. So I was able to witness from within all the challenges that we had to overcome, and I'm very glad and honored to have been part of that team that brought the data center to where it is today.
Yeah. And I know, I mean, obviously the data center was under a different name before when it first originated. And then it got bought over, as you said, by the local telecom company,
Yep.
UTS at the time. And I understand now that but UTS has been sold to another company. But now you are under the government, so that it's a government-owned data center. Is that right?
That is correct. So indeed, after UTS was acquired by another company, our asset did not go with that acquisition. And as a result, we are now under a foundation which belongs to the government. So we report directly to the government. So we have a board, and then that board, obviously, the shareholder is the government of Curacao.
Okay. And I think and what I was able to see is that the board has chosen to make sure to give guarantees to your customers and to the customers because there are some very important customers at the data center. Obviously, it's not tier fours don't just pop up anywhere. So but they chose someone that was already vetted, that's already trusted, someone who knew the business very well, someone who has had a very important role playing in developing the business side of the data center, and I understand that that's what motivated the decision to make you CEO now.
Absolutely, that has certainly been the main driver because, as I have always been saying, the business of data center is the business of selling trust. Because you have to realize that for most companies, their IT assets are those platforms that contain all their valuable information. Now, if you have to convince a company to let go of their most valuable information and come place it on an island called Curacao, which a lot of people don't know of, in a company called Blue Nap Americas, a lot of people haven't heard of, run by a man named Danilo Zabala, a lot of people haven't heard of, it's a very tough sell. People are only willing to let go of their most valuable asset if they trust you.
That's
So
right.
what we are selling is trust, and because the region, the community has known me, have seen me tell the same story for many years, that level of trust has already been achieved to a certain level. So that has been a key component in them making this decision because you have to put somebody that knows the story, that's been there, that lived the entire journey, and is able to convey that trust to companies that are considering placing their valuable IT equipment with us.
Well, talking about trust, you recently this week it was published in a press release that BlueNap has reached a new ISO certification. ISO certification, and I just want to make a little pause. I just want to explain to the people who are listening to us on the podcast platforms or watching us on any of our social media channels that right now at the CINEX Summit, it's the coffee break. So and we're right in the middle, and we're totally integrated with the conference and with the people around us. So if you hear all the hustling sound and the buzzings, that's really because we're really part of the event and we're in the middle of the coffee break. But so going back to the matter of trust, yeah. So tell us about the ISO certification. What does it mean? Why is this such an important achievement? How does that change everything or not? Maybe it's just a staple of guaranteeing. Everything you've been doing. Now you have a certification that tells people that it's what you're saying. It's true.
Yeah, for us, we are very honored and to have achieved this level of certification is the ISO 27001. ISO, of course, the International Standards Organization. That's a world accredited organization that defines standards of operations of excellence. And the particular certification of ISO 27001 speaks towards your level of preparedness for information, the handling of information security, which is absolutely critical for our customers. As I mentioned, the trust component plays a huge role in a company who is trying to decide if they're going to put their valuables with a data center or not. So having this certification is sort of a stamp of approval guaranteeing them that, listen, this company adheres to the highest level of information security standards in terms of handling your valuable information. You have to think about things like who gets access to their equipment, who is authorized to access their information, how do we protect the information, how do we protect the building so that unwarranted access is not allowed. Things of this matter. And this certification is a very rigorous certification to go through it. It took us almost a year. It includes detailed auditing by a professional, outside professional, that wants to ensure that you meet these rigorous expectations. And once you do, you get a stamp of approval, and this is recognized worldwide as being the top level for information security management. So we are extremely honored to be able to have this certification because it gives our customers that peace of mind that their information is being handled in a professional manner and that their information security concerns are pretty much mitigated.
Well, congratulations on the Israeli. I imagine there's a lot of work that goes into getting and a very important investment of time and money that go into getting that ISO certification. However, it's totally worth it for
Absolutely.
big Fortune 2000 companies
Yep.
with this certification, they know, or either government companies,
Absolutely.
banks, now they know that you've passed one of the toughest tests when it comes to security. I know because I've been to the BlueNap facilities and we've worked together on the branding
That's right.
of BlueNap. And you trusted us to
Yep.
do the branding of BlueNap, changing it from the previous branding that it had, and we rebranded it to what today is known as BlueNap Americas. And we've handled your press, international press, for a long time. So I want to thank you for trusting us in with that work. I know it's a bunker. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really an impressive facility. For the people who don't know, like you mentioned, what Blue Nap is or where Curacao is, like, why is Curacao so ideal? So why is Curacao like the perfect place to have your data center?
That's a great question. But first of all, I wanted to thank you again for helping us with the branding. And when we took over way back when, it was very important for us to come up with a new name and new branding to convey the right message. And with your help and your team's help, we were able to come up with the name Blue Nap Americas, which has some key components in it. The blue being sort of heritage of Curacao being
Yeah.
blue. The NAP, which is a strategic word in the business of data center, a NAP is a network access point.
Yes.
But there are only a few NAPs in the world. So we want to position ourselves at that level of quality in the world. And Americas is the final piece of the wording that speaks towards the market that we are addressing. So the Blue Nap Americas data center wasn't built solely for the island of Curacao or the Caribbean, but it's actually for the entire Latin America and North America as well. So thank you for that again.
Oh no, again, it was great working with you because you meet a lot of different clients, and really it was a true pleasure. And thank you for the opportunity for trusting us with such an important project and launching the data center.
Absolutely.
But tell us a little bit more Curacao, because
Yeah.
I think you're right. A lot of people don't know where Curacao is.
Exactly.
And they just think, oh, okay, it was a small Caribbean island.
Yeah.
And they look at our size and they say, well, what
Right.
can they do?
Right.
However, it's really impressive all that we do on such a small island.
Absolutely.
And the facilities that we have and the infrastructure that we have and the role that we play with regards to telecommunications, because we have a lot of submarine cables connecting to the island,
Right.
allowing us to be a great hub for data transfer in the region. And now we have a tier 4 data center
Yep.
right here on the island. So from your view, how does saying you're from Curacao and explain, how do people react when you tell them this?
Well, first of all, there was some strategic reasons for picking Curacao as the location for the data center. I think one thing that people have to realize is that in today's world, the marketplace has become global. There's no
Yeah.
longer the matter of having a local market. So the big companies, the big conglomerates, they cater to the entire world. It's no longer an American market, a European market, Latin America. It's the world. It's the market. And in order to reach that market, you need to deliver your services as close as possible to the end consumers.
Even when it's online, even on
Absolutely,
internet.
absolutely.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't realize this. All these big companies that deliver, especially digital services, digital content, for example, they are not able to deliver it from one centralized location. And the reason is quite simple. It's the technical limitation. Digital content travels over a network. And if you travel from point A to point B, it takes time for you to travel. And
Like anything.
like anything,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm trying to simplify the matter. So in order to acquire a piece of information that is stored in Seattle, Washington, it'll take a lot longer
And
time.
you go get it at the bottom of Argentina somewhere.
Exactly. So because of that technical limitation, these large companies, they are not able to serve the entire world market, as I was mentioning, from one centralized location. So what they have to do is they have to find a way to bring their products and services closer to the end consumer. And the way they do that is primarily they build a content distribution network. So they have multiple data centers that are strategically placed all over the world, but
Right.
still In some cases, they cannot afford to build data centers all over the world. So what they do is they leverage existing data center in a particular region in order to push forward their products and services. And in our example, we quickly recognized that in the Caribbean, there wasn't any tier 4 certified data center. So we figured that it's an opportunity to become a significant player for the region, not only
Right.
for the country of Curacao. Of course, there were some strategic thinking in picking Curacao, one of which is, for most people that don't know, Curacao is right outside the traditional hurricane belt. So
Yes.
we have never been hit head on by any hurricanes.
A lot
But
of yacht
just in
owners
case,
know that.
exactly,
They
exactly,
come
good point.
looking for
That's right.
refuge
They
to the
come looking for
islands
shelter.
when during the hurricane season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, very important, Curacao is not on any active seismic plates like we have in Latin America and
Right.
the northern side of the Caribbean.
No earthquakes here.
No earthquakes. So from that perspective, Curacao is an ideal location because you are somewhat protected by the natural elements.
Right.
However, just in case we do get hit by a tsunami, hurricane, or earthquake, we have built the data center to be able to sustain a Category 5 hurricane, earthquake level 3, and we've built it on top of a hill. So God forbid there is tsunami in the Caribbean, we should be high and dry.
You know, it's those things sound very scary when people hear them, but you have to. I think people need to understand it. If a data center goes down,
Right.
it affects millions and millions of people,
Absolutely.
and banks may stop to operate.
That's right.
Governments may get paralyzed. So when a natural disaster hits, so
Right.
being on a location, Curacao, and I think it's very important for people to understand why Curacao is such a great location. That's why I asked you the question.
Yeah.
We are making it safer for a lot of companies and governments and organizations to make sure that business continues, because you do offer the service of business continuity.
Correct.
As well. Can you
That's
tell
right.
us a little bit about that service? How
Absolutely.
does that work?
Absolutely. So, in addition to the, as I mentioned, the protection against these natural elements, just simply based on our geolocation, there are some additional benefits as well that Curacao provides. First and foremost, you have to realize that in order to access the data center, you need to communicate with it. So you need to have networks that are reaching the data center. And if we are catering to the entire region, or actually to the entire world, we need to have as many as these communication networks as possible. And a lot of people don't realize that Curacao, for being a small island, we enjoy several submarine fiber optic cables that connect Curacao with the rest of the world. This is important,
Right.
because at the end of the day, we are an island. So the question could be, what happens if one of these cables get damaged or experiences some sort of downtime? Well, the answer is quite simple. We have 7 more. So you could reroute traffic in several cables, thus giving you a high level of uptime, availability, and redundancy.
Right.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, of course, Curacao is part of the Dutch Kingdom.
Right.
And being part of the Dutch Kingdom, we leverage, a lot of their laws, and one of their very strong laws is in the terms of data privacy.
Yes.
So for
And
a company,
confidentiality.
confidentiality, exactly.
Right.
So for a company that's considering placing their information with us, they are protected automatically by law in terms of data privacy, confidentiality, et cetera, which is a
And
huge
I
benefit.
think most people also, when you say that Curacao under Dutch law, and people know the Netherlands, and
Yes.
people know that how the Dutch do business,
Yes.
and how the government of the Netherlands also is very pro companies, very pro private sector, very always allowing for companies to creating policies that makes economies grow. And Curacao being part of the Dutch kingdom, we definitely get the benefits of those kind of laws, especially for your clients, for the clients of considering Lunam.
And in addition to that, in general, the Dutch are considered a very neutral and stable government.
Yeah.
Certainly in our regions where we have seen some dramatic changes in government policies, the Netherlands has been extremely stable, well respected, and generally considered a safe government.
Yes.
So that's also a huge
plus.
A huge plus for us, attracting businesses from abroad.
Well, Danilo, we're reaching the end of our interview. I want to thank you once again for joining us here on Nexus here at the CINEX. There's so many more things I want to talk to you. We have to do this again. We have
Sure.
to do this again very soon.
Absolutely.
I would love to be able to for us to take the Nexus platform, go to Blue Nap,
Yep.
and maybe do an interview there. Does that sound
Absolutely. You're more than
interesting?
welcome. Yeah.
And then maybe we can go deeper into different subjects. I want to touch, I want to touch the points of cybersecurity with you,
Yeah.
and different items that we haven't been able to touch base on, because I know you're doing something very interesting there. You have other partnerships with other
absolutely.
companies that are
That's right.
that I think we need to definitely let our audience learn
Absolutely.
more about. So
It'll be my pleasure.
yeah, Danilo, thank you so much, man. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
all the best of success with the future projects.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Danilo Zabala, the new CEO of Blue Nap Americas. We are here at the CINEX Summit in Santa Barbara Resort in Curacao. If you like this episode and you like the content that we're making, show us your love. Put a like on our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram and on YouTube. Subscribe to our channels. We appreciate your support. Thanks a lot. Until next episode.